Hey folks, how you doing? Happy Friday to you. Well, it's Friday as I'm sitting in front of this camera. I hope everyone is doing well. We made it to the weekend, and I'm too tired to go out and party or whatever it is we do on weekends. After a long work week, you know, I just want to come home, pop open a cold one, and relax with my music. Saturday we'll do something social. And so cheers, VC. I'll do another one. And so I thought, I still wanted to make a video, but I haven't gone vinyl digging. So I thought I would show my Rush collection. I'm a huge Rush fan. Been a big Rush fan since I was 19. When I was really getting serious in the drums, Rush came into my music collection and has stayed there ever since. So I'm gonna, and since I joined the VC, I accumulated a lot of Rush vinyl. So, and I got a big stack of Rush vinyl, so I really have to get to it. So let me take it a last swig and then we'll head into it. All right, the Rush vinyl. We'll start from the beginning, the very first Rush album. I believe this came out in '74, if I remember correctly. This is about to be reissued, 40th anniversary vinyl. I pre-ordered it, and now I'm just awaiting the release date. Can't wait for that. That's going to be a big addition to this collection. But it's nice to have, you know, a nice used copy of it in the meantime. And this is a killer record. This is before Neil Peart joined the band. We got John Rutsey there in the middle, the original Rush drummer. And I thought Rutsey was a good drummer. I mean, of course, you know, Neil Peart's like the god of drums, but Rutsey was a good drummer. So, or is that how you say his name? Yeah, Rutsey. So, really killer record. First Rush album. Great piece of vinyl. Then Neil Peart, of course, would join the band, and the next album would be Fly By Night, one of my personal favorites in the vinyl collection. How I love this album so much. I actually re-listened to it a few weeks ago when I was going through my whole Rush collection looking for master disc albums. Master disc copy of albums in my Rush collection after, I guess I'm just a spud boy, kind of educated me on that whole thing. And this is definitely one of those master disc copies. And this is such a great album. All my favorites, Anthem being one of my favorites, Beneath, Between, Behind, By Toward the Snow Dog, Fly By Night, In the End. Some great songs on here, so I love this album to death. And then the next Rush album would be Caress of Steel. This was a gift given to me by the teacher, Robert, a couple of years ago. And when he, I, and Lazarus, Dwayne, we met at the Davis Record Fair. And Robert was nice enough to buy this for me. And it's been in my collection ever since. And it's going to stay there. A very underrated Rush album. I actually adore this album too. It's been a while since I listened to it, but this is a killer album too. Kind of a dark album, but a good one. And of course, Rush Archives, which is a collection of the first 3 albums I just shown you. There they are in the back. I would take these out and show them, but this would be a long video if I did that for every album. But always see this in the stores, and I think about a month or 2 ago, I finally found a clean copy, and here it is. Hard to find this in decent condition, and there's ring wear on this, but it is such a fantastic album. And it's great to have a good copy that shows off these first 3 albums. I wouldn't say it's a valuable record set, but valuable to me as far as my love for the band. So there we go. The next set would be the legendary 2112, another album I would listen to recently when I was on my Rush kick, looking for master disc copies in my collection. And you know, in fact, we're listening to a live version of 2112 right now. It took me a while actually to like this album, which is funny because every Rush fan just swears by 2112. When I first heard it, I didn't like Geddy Lee's voice when I first heard it. the studio version of 2112. I thought Geddy Lee's voice was just a little too much to handle. Obviously the band was kick-ass. Instrumentally they were kick-ass. But it just took me a while to get over Geddy Lee's voice. But once I did, this album just blew my mind. And I love side 2 just as much as I love side 1 on this album. And the song Something for Nothing, one of my favorite early Rush songs, is on this record. Probably one of my favorite songs of the entire album, and then the whole 2112 piece. Excellent album, excellent album. And that would bring us to Rush's first live record, All the World's a Stage. I actually got 2 copies, my old copy and a copy I got from VCLT, with the tri-gatefold. Excellent live record, excellent live record. It's not my favorite Rush live record, but I do love this album to death. Just a great period of Rush live captured on a 2-album set. Just actually really killer. So, and I got 2 excellent copies. So, big score there. All right, now the music starts getting a bit complex here. Rush, Farewell to Kings. This is when the epic long songs started taking over. Like the song Farewell to Kings and Xanadu were just a killer side 1. A killer side 1. A more shorter commercial song like Close to the Heart. Just a great album. And like I said, this is when the songs start getting complex. Very, very complex. And they start showing their abilities as prog rock songwriters. Excellent album. And then the very awesome Rush Hemispheres. If you thought the last album was complicated, listen to this one. You'll be worn out by the time you get to this album. And that's the effect it had on me when I first started listening to it when I was in my late teens, early 20s. This is another album that blew my mind because it's so complex. They do nothing simple on this entire album. Every song has such a... they're so technical on this, every song. And every song has such a difficult arrangement to it. It's just unbelievable. This is like the... I guess reissue because it has the barcode here, but an excellent used copy of this album. I would later get the Canadian press of it, of Hemispheres, and hurry and get moving here, because we know, and of course there's the gatefold for this album. Real nice. There's cool pictures of the band. And this particular pressing of the record was on red vinyl, and here we go. Love showed it off. Just a gorgeous record to look at. This was a record that was made for red vinyl. It just seems to fit the personality of the album so well, and it's one of my favorite pieces in my Rush collection. Just love it to death. So, Hemispheres on red vinyl, really nice. And as far as being blown away by how technical Rush can get with their instrumentals and their arrangements, this is the album. And then the next excellent album would be Permanent Waves, most likely known for the song Spirit Radio and Free Will, but it also has just a great, great song which is known as Natural Science. Just killer, absolutely killer. I have 2 copies of this album. And I believe the reason is that was one was on Anthem Records and one was on, well, this one's on Anthem. I just bought it for the labels. They're on different labels. So that one's Anthem. And I believe this one is on the Mercury label. But let's just open it, look at the album just to be sure. Yeah, it's the custom label with the Mercury logo on the top. Really nice. I just thought it'd be cool to have them on 2 different labels, so the Rush fanatic in me had to have it, so there we are. And then the Rockstar Moving Pictures. Discovered this album when I was 19, And you know, drums and music were now a huge part of my life. And this record it was an eye-opener. It was just an eye-opener. This one I'll have to show because it's such the awesome album it is. It's hard to pick one song because the whole album blew my mind. Just absolutely blew my mind. I mean, I was never the same after listening to this for the first time. And there's the really cool custom labels. Always love the custom label on this one. Real nice. This whole record blew my mind. Not just because of the drums, though the drums are fantastic on here, but just how the band plays so well as a three-piece. I mean, it sounds more than just three guys. It's hard to believe it's only three guys playing, and the sound they get is so huge and so epic on this record. This record still to this day blows me away. I'm still blown away every time I listen to this album. It is their masterpiece, even though they would still write great albums after this. This one is just the greatest of all time from Rush. Just excellent. And it would lead to my favorite live record from Rush, Exit Stage Left. Just an awesome, awesome album. Another record in those late teens, early 20s that just let me know this is the benchmark. This is what, as a drummer and as a musician, you know, you want to be as good as these guys, or try to be as good as these guys. It gave me something to shoot for, this album. The drum solo that's on this during YYZ, and you know, all the live versions of these songs, how they're just done so accurately and it sounds so amazing. I had the video that went with this, the live video and concert video, and this and moving pictures really was like, it was like this is where you want to get to as a drummer and as a musician. That's what this album means to me. It helped me set my goal as a musician and drummer, and I practiced like hell after listening to this and moving pictures. Forever changed my life. So love this album, absolutely love it. And then we go to Signals with this absolutely awesome song, Subdivisions. Subdivisions is such a great song. Analog Kid, The Weapon, Countdown. This is just a great album. I'm surprised it doesn't get talked about as much amongst Rush fans, because they all love to go to 2112 and moving pictures, but this one was just a killer record. And I also have the 12-inch single for Subdivisions. Showed it once in the video, never showed it again. It is really good. The B-side is live versions of Red Barchetta and Jacob's Ladder. Let me just get the record out here, and I shall show you. Just on the Mercury label. I love that blue label. Sounds great on the 12-inch single. The sound quality sounds amazing on the 12-inch single, so Subdivisions really sounds killer on it. Sometimes I think it sounds better on the 12-inch single than it does on the album, but still, this was a great find. So 12-inch single for Subdivisions. Really big find. And then the next album would be Grace Under Pressure, another personal favorite, and I think underrated Rush album, because this one doesn't get hyped up very much amongst Rush fans. It doesn't, because of so much keyboard being used on this record. There's a lot of keyboard on this record, but songs like, you know, Distant Early Warning, Red Sector A, The Enemy Within, The Body Electric, Red Lenses, Between the Wheels, just excellent freaking songs. And yeah, it just gets skipped over a lot because, you know, like I said, too many keyboards on it. Old fans of Rush just want to hear bass drums and guitars, but great album. And the 12-inch single that went along with that one was for the song Red Sector A. And on the B-side we have The Enemy Within. Two great songs from that album on this 12-inch single. And like my special copy of Hemispheres, it was on red vinyl. Love this 12-inch single because it looks so cool on the red vinyl. Rush is a cool band to have on red vinyl. What can I say? That's their color. When it comes to colored vinyl, you know, red vinyl is the tops with Rush. And that 12-inch single is like one of my favorites in my Rush collection. This is such an awesome piece, so really glad. I actually found this in a store and scored it, so amazing. All right, next up we have my favorite of the keyboard era of Rush, which is Moving Pictures. I absolutely adore this album to death. The whole album, not, in my opinion, not a bad song on this whole album. Just great. From Big Money to Grand Designs to Middletown Dreams. Oh, this is just an awesome album. And their most recent tour for the album Clockwork Angels, they played a lot of songs from this album live, which I was really thrilled to see. A lot of songs from the keyboard era were featured on that tour set list. And it was a great tour. And I managed to catch a show from that tour, and this is, like I said, a joy to spin. A joy. And I also have a 12-inch single from that album. It's for the song Big Money. And on the B-side, we have Red Sector A Live. So this was a cool find as well. Love spinning this one. And then the next studio record from Rush would be Hold Your Fire. Another good record. I don't think I like it as much as Grace Under Pressure or Power Windows, but a damn good album in its own right. Time Stands Still is a great one. Force 10's amazing. I love the song Prime Mover, Under Lock and Key, Mission, Turn the Page. Some great songs on here. I got lucky and found a really good copy. And I always loved the insert on this. Let me take the time to show the insert, because there's some great artwork and a photo on this. I've always loved that photo. That to me is just awesome. It's just an eye-catching photo on the insert. The back is no big deal, it's just lyrics. But it made me glad to own the album. And this is when every Rush release was getting the custom label treatment. Here's the custom label for that one. Really nice looking custom label as well. So, really cool, really cool. Like I said, not my favorite album during the Rush keyboard era, but there's some great songs on here, and makes it a good album to have. Love this album. Now here was my introduction to Rush, period, was A Show of Hands. Now I believe this came out in 1988, and you know, I did a trade with a friend. I was into cassette trading, and I had a live doc back in Beast from the East, and a friend of mine who was a guitar player had this on cassette, so I told him, hey, I'll make you a copy of Beast from the East if you make me a copy of Rush, Show of Hands. And he said, deal. So, you know, we exchanged, brought my cassette of Rush home, listened to it, and thought, wow, this is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. And I later went out and bought the video cassette, which I've shown before in videos. This was really my introduction to Rush when I had just graduated from high school. I was 18, and that summer I loved this album to death. I believe it was summer, if not in the fall. And eventually went and bought it on CD. You know, I have the vinyl. This is a good copy, and just absolutely love this album. Yeah, this was my introduction to Rush, and on this album it had a lot of stuff. Big Money, Subdivisions, Marathon, Manhattan Project, Mission, Distant Early Warning, great version of Close to the Heart that closes the album. I don't think it's my favorite. My favorite is still Exit Stage Left, but this one comes a very close second, just because this is where I was introduced to Rush and Rush Live. Great stuff. This was the first Rush studio album I bought when it was first released, and that was Presto. And I actually saw Rush for the first time in person during this tour when he came to Sacramento. Mr. Big actually opened for Rush, and did an awesome job opening. I actually caught 2 shows in Sacramento from this tour. They would come back 2 months later, again with Mr. Big opening, and it was just a great show. That's all I gotta say. At this point, I'm fully in on Rush. I became an obsessed fan. This is when I was 19, 20 years old, seeing my first Rush show, and this album, I remember hearing this album for the first time because the first thing was Show Don't Tell, and they played on a local rock radio station here where it premiered, and I knew I had to have the album. Only hearing a minute of the song, I was like, if the whole album sounds anything like Show Don't Tell, I'm going to be in love with this album. And to a lot of people, it's a forgotten album from Rush. I adore this album. Not their best studio record by any means, but some good songs like Show Don't Tell, Chain Lightning, The Pass, War Paint, Scars, Presto, really good. Superconductor was good. Available Light, I thought was a good song to close the album. And one of my favorite covers too. I always dug that cover. So, really cool album from Rush. Okay, now at this point we reach all the holes in my Rush collection. I've yet to score Roll the Bones and Counterparts, Test for Echo, Snakes and Arrows. Those are the ones I'm missing from my collection. I did see a copy of Feedback one time in a store, but they wanted like $50 for it. I have Feedback on CD. Not really my favorite Rush release. It was just a little cheap thing you can buy on CD as they were celebrating their 30th birthday of the band, and I bought it, I think I've only listened to it 2 times since I've owned it. So having it on vinyl really wasn't that big of a priority. I could have bought it when I did see it, but $50 for that album to me just seemed like a lot. I wouldn't pay no more than $20 for Feedback, and you'll never see it for that much money. Anyway, let's move on. The next one up is Rush Vapor Trails Remix, and this sounds so much better than the original album. It's amazing how much better this one sounds. When this album first came out, number one, you were happy Rush was back because they went on a long hiatus, like a 4 or 5 year hiatus. And then when this album was first released, you were just happy to see Rush again because you thought the band was through. At least I did. And one little victory, opening with that amazing double bass drum pattern on the drums that kicked the song off. That was amazing. that said Neil Peart was back, and it said Rush was back all in the same time. It was great. But it was a terrible mix. The mix on it was terrible. It sounded awful. I mean, the music was really good. The songs were good. It's just the mix on it was terrible. They got it right on this one. This came out last year, and the mix is fantastic on this. And they put it on the Atlantic label. I'll show you the record here. There we go. So it's on the Atlantic label, and it's like a whole new record. I mean, this is the way the record should have been released. It sounds fantastic. So I was real thrilled to get this, and I spun this for the first time. Oh, my eyes were like this, like, oh, this is how I wanted to hear this album. Fantastic, just fantastic. They would later go on the Time Machine tour, and they would play Moving Pictures Live back in 2011, and they released it on vinyl. So this is Moving Pictures Live 2011 from the Time Machine tour. I went and saw this tour as well when it came to the Bay Area, and it was great to see this live. The vinyl itself, the mix could be better. It's not bad, but I guess I was expecting more from this. The packaging is so-so. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I think I was just expecting more, and it didn't quite deliver that way, but still a good album to have in the collection if you're a big Rush fan, like as you can plainly see. Let's show some. Well, I'll show the last studio album from Rush, the very awesome Clockwork Angels. I got this the day it was released, and immediately put it to my turntable, and I was just in seventh heaven. This is an excellent album. Excellent album. I would later see this tour in San Jose, the Bay Area here in Northern California. They had the string section for all the songs from this album. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. And one of my favorite Rush concerts to go to was during this tour. The band sounded great then, and with the strings, it sounded even nicer. Not a bad song on this entire record. This was some great writing, and it's a concept album as well. So I revisited this album a few days ago, and it still kicks ass. I haven't listened to it in a while because when it first came out, I was listening to it non-stop for days in a row, and weeks actually, and I got a little burnt out on it, to say the least. And when I revisited it a few days ago, man, I was like, now I know why I was obsessed with this album. Thing kicks ass. Okay, I'm going to show some very rare Rush live records. This is Rush ABC 1974. This is when Neil Peart first joined the band, and they were doing early versions of songs that would appear later on Fly By Night, and some songs that never got recorded, like Fancy Dancer. Garden Road sounds fantastic. If you've never heard Garden Road, look it up on YouTube. It's an amazing song. Really, really love it. So, a really excellent live album. Unofficial release from, I think it was Back on Black, right? Yeah, Back on Black was the company that released it. And I'll just show you one of the records because it looks really awesome. It's on blue vinyl with these nice custom labels here. If I can just get the record the right way up here. There we go. Rush 1974, ABC. Excellent live record. This was a radio broadcast from Cleveland, I believe, back in 74. And it is a interesting album to listen to. It actually kicks a lot of ass, to be honest with you. Really love this album. It's been a while since I heard this. So I think after I turn the camera off, I might throw this one on the turntable. Excellent release. This one was a gift from Dave, Fatback Funk. When I met him and we did some vinyl digging in Berkeley, California, he gave this to me as a gift, and this is called Rush Moon Over Cleveland, double live LP set. So a lot of the songs from here are on this record here. So not quite every song, but there's quite a few that appears on Rush 74 ABC. So this was a great album. I can't thank Dave enough for this one. Just a great 2 record sets, a bootleg, of course, but the sound quality is excellent on it. And it's on colored vinyl. And we got the first record on colored vinyl, which is red. Once again, Rush kicks ass on red vinyl. And I believe the other one is just a standard black vinyl. Record 2, yeah. But just this album kicks ass. It's a kick-ass bootleg, and it sounds fantastic. The sound quality is really good on this one, and it's from that whole Cleveland show. So, and I think there's also, I mean, one of it is Cleveland. I think the other one is Germany, if I believe. Yeah, Frankfurt, Germany. Tracks 4 and 5 on side 4 are from Germany, 1979. The rest is Cleveland. So, awesome collection. And gotta thank Dave a lot for that. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for sitting through this video. I know I made it quite long, but I had a ton of Rush vinyl to get through, and I didn't even get to the 7-inch records, or the CDs, or the DVDs, or the bootlegs on CD and DVD. My Rush collection's fucking crazy, and I'm missing some albums on vinyl. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Cheers, and I shall see you on the next video. Good night, everyone.